Oh boy. Anytime we talk about old 45th President Donald Trump, it's either a grand slam for positive engagement in my comments or they're ready to bring fire and brimstone filled with big orange bad remarks. Either way, I'm ready for it. Let's get it poppin'.
Worldwide exclusive.
What if I told you all these quotes are actually 2020 Democratic candidates' quotes?
Oh.
I'm Kevin Phillips with Campus Reform. This week, President Trump is giving his fourth State of the Union address. I'm in Washington, D.C., getting college students' opinions on quotes from that address. But what they don't know is that all the quotes are actually from 2020 Democratic candidates for president. Will that change their mind? Let's find out. The White House released an early transcript of the State of the
So I did a video like this with real Joe Biden quotes where an interviewer was going around asking New Yorkers if they agreed with what he said or not, and they didn't know it was actually Joe Biden. They actually were saying it was like Donald Trump or vice versa, and people were thrown off their rockers. They were completely fooled and twisted, but hopefully this one's a little different. Hopefully students are more informed, but I doubt it.
Union. Gonna get your reaction to a few of the more controversial quotes.
Okay.
Talking to black voters, trying to win their support, saying, quote, "The other side is going to put y'all back in chains." What do you think of that one?
That's inappropriate. That should not be spoken like that.
I mean, I think that's just flat out racist.
Nah, that's pretty horrendous.
We should get a new
Trump said
president,
it, right?
probably. We shouldn't have like someone like that as like a
But he
role
did.
model for kids.
I don't think anyone is trying to do that.
Talking about North Korea, this administration's success will be judged on whether we can eliminate North Korea's nuclear weapons and verify they're gone once and for all.
Well, that sounds very threatening, as if we're going to be executing him completely.
That it's warmongering, and I also think that there's other things to focus on with North Korea than just nuclear weapons.
I think it would be warmongering, but also it's just like a part of his rhetoric to like assert dominance and like assert American exceptionalism, things like that.
Oh,
So
really?
It doesn't really surprise me that he said something like that.
It was a she that said it, though. These people are spouting off these headlines called, like, warmongering. They probably don't even know what that means, do they? They just saw it on CNN, you know, Commie News Network, and it's amazing.
Knowing him, he's very like irrational and yeah.
I'd say slightly inaccurate.
Next up, talking about inner city violence and gun violence, saying, quote, "Those kids think they're going to get killed anyway because all their friends are getting killed. They just don't have any long-term focus or anything. It's a joke to have a gun. It's a joke to pull the trigger to them."
Yeah, so, I mean, he's saying that because these are communities of people of color, and it's not even veiled racism, it's just racism.
That's flat out ridiculous and very just not appropriate language, I feel like.
Oh, what?
I think that's pretty unrealistic.
To kind of put all the blame for gun violence on those kids and not the people who are manufacturing them and the people who are selling them is an issue in and of itself.
I feel like that's really belittling to the people in those areas to say, oh, they don't care, when there are many people who are trying to better their situation.
Next up, talking
How is it the gun manufacturer's fault? How is it 6 Hours' fault that somebody goes out and slaughters a bunch of innocent people because they felt like it that day, and it's not the person's fault? 6 Hour didn't send somebody out to do that. That's like blaming the cake for somebody getting obese. That's like blaming fast food for people taking advantage of that McDonald's app and using all them coupons, eating all that food without exercising. It's not the manufacturer's fault. It's the person's fault. Where do we fail in accountability? It's all over, and it's crazy how they don't realize how programmed they are. I'm talking about these students to think a certain way about someone. It's actually insane. It boggles my mind, and it's very sad, and we got to turn the tide on them.
Care when there are many people who are trying to better their situation.
Next up, talking about Israel-Palestine, obviously hot button issue for a lot of people. Quote, "When Palestine and Hamas put rocket launchers next to hospitals and schools, they're using civilians to protect their military. I believe Israel has a right at that point to defend itself." What's your take?
I think he needs to use more peaceful language, and I think it needs to be taken care of in a more peaceful, diplomatic way.
I'm very
Really?
pacifist, so I really don't support war, so I don't support any of that at all.
Using that kind of language is very charged.
He has Israel all messed up. I mean, and a lot of people do, but him especially. I mean, Israel isn't the one that we should be backing at all.
What if I told you all these quotes are actually 2020 Democratic candidates' quotes?
Oh, I would believe you.
They are.
Interesting.
Is that surprising?
Yeah.
These are actually all quotes
Now
from
what?
Democratic candidates in 2020.
Oh, interesting.
What do you think of that?
Be honest.
I don't know.
What if I told you these are actually all quotes from Joe Biden, Elizabeth Warren, and other Democrat candidates.
Who said the chains one?
Joe Biden.
Joe Biden said that.
Yeah.
I did not know that they said that.
The in chains one, it makes more sense in that context now. And whoever said that, like, that is concerning and not something
Joe
I
Biden.
agree with. Not shocking.
Are you surprised by that, by the quotes? What's your take on that?
Yeah.
Now you're not shocked. I'm just confused. I'd like any of them, and they still got time. I would like any of them to just say one time, you know what? I was wrong for what I said against Trump. Trump didn't say none of this. I was wrong for labeling him this way, for taking this side. It's striking how educated and smart these kids think they are, and they're really not. They're just completely irrational. They don't want to hear the truth. They just want to just display all these other ideologies and pretend that they know what they're talking about when reality hits. What's really going on and who's really saying these things behind closed doors, they don't want to talk about that. They don't want to talk about those issues. They don't want to talk about the hidden evil motives and satanic ways that the left promotes. Come on now, man.
I think that
it's messed up out here in these
everybody
streets.
I feel like everyone's a hypocrite at some point a little bit.
We label like who has these thoughts, and like if you're a Democrat you should think this way, and like if you're a Republican you think a certain way. But I think sometimes there are overlapping beliefs that we kind of overlook.
But I think that
Like
initially I'm like, oh, he said it, like let me find something bad about it. So yeah, I think that is fair.
Twitter informs a lot of my political decisions. I mean, Twitter informs a lot of my decisions, period. Twitter is great. I love Twitter, but it's definitely radicalized me to the left a lot more than
There you go.
I think that I was.
Honesty.
I mean,
That's
it's
where it
all
starts.
stuff that we kind of associate with the other side, at least, from my understanding. Again, the school is mostly liberal.
Yeah, I think often some people would look at what you just said and say like, oh, my candidate didn't say that, or, you know, like they would never have done that in the past. But I think that like everyone's opinions change, and like everybody says questionable things now and then, and I think that it's beneficial to accept that.
I think people are very like, okay, if it's what this person is saying, I'm going to find a way to make it bad. And if it's someone that I want to support, then maybe I can find a way to make it sound good.
Misleading. That's what that is.
Well, hello there. I'm Kappa Phillips with Campus Reform. Thanks so much for watching. If you want to join our team, we're always looking for new investigators.
It's amazing because Big Orange isn't always bad. He didn't have any of those quotes, and at the beginning they were just misinformed and they were judgmental, misleading. It's misinformation that is evil. It's misinformation that's racist. It's misinformation that leads you to believe people are saying certain things when they're not, because Twitter and where that young man said he gets his information is censoring what is considered hate speech is actually facts, but they don't want you to unveil the curtain. They don't want you to see what's behind that and what's really going on, the evil, demonic, satanic ways, a lot of the time on the left side, between abortion, gun control, all that sort of stuff. Guns ain't out there killing people. You go to get health insurance because, you know, in case a disaster ever happens, in case a crisis ever happens, you're prepared for it. Same thing with a gun. You own a gun. You're a law-abiding citizen that owns a gun just in case anybody ever had the nerve or the evil thought to break into your home, to try to take what you got, to try to harm your family or your loved ones. That's why you have a gun. Guns don't pull the trigger themselves. Sig Sauer shouldn't be blamed for some evil kid or man, woman, doesn't matter, going out there and killing somebody. The parent should be blamed, one, for allowing their kids to have that, and the person needs to have accountability. They need to be blamed. They need to be held accountable. If they didn't have a parent, you know, you got to start unraveling what was really going on behind closed doors. It's not the manufacturer. McDonald's didn't make somebody fat. Somebody chose to eat McDonald's over and over and over again without working out, without being diligent every single day, and, you know, going out there exerting a little extra effort to burn those calories. It ain't McDonald's fault. Stop blaming the other people. Look in the mirror. That's where it starts. It starts with yourself. You want something, work hard for it. You need something, don't ask for a handout. Go make it happen. Take the steps necessary and the discipline applied every single day to make that thing happen, to attain that goal or that possession, whatever it is. Either way, you can't take it with you. You can't strap a U-Haul to a hearse. So if Jesus wouldn't do it, if Jesus ain't backing it, if it's not in the basic instructions before leaving Earth, you got to ask yourself, is it what I should be doing? Is it what I should be filling my mind with, filling my household with? I don't know, man, but the best way to learn about something, to get really informed, is to frequently talk about it. That's us having conversation, and to expose yourself to it time and time again. Now, that doesn't mean just on one side. Watch all sides and then make a well-informed decision and opinion based on having all the facts. You know what I'm saying? Listen to the left, listen to the right, look up, pray about it, and let Jesus guide the way. Let this guide the way of your decision. That's my take on it, but you may disagree. Let me know why. Let me know how you came to your conclusion. I would love to have a discussion about it. But for right now, subscribe, like, notification bell, hit that share button, spread this. Let's keep having respectful conversations. Keep logic intact. Once somebody gets emotional, nobody wins. The argument goes south and nobody progresses, nobody gets anywhere. It's just beating people upside the head, hitting them with a club, and belittling. That judgment on all sides never gets anyone anywhere. Just like this interview, judgment based on lack of facts, lack of knowledge, lack of understanding, and just compassion, it gets us nowhere. So have compassion, have respect for all sides, have a conversation, and then go from there. It's about lifting people up. It's about loving each other, loving God, and that's how we progress in society. But I love y'all. Godspeed. I'm gone.